Hi, I'm Bob Darty. At Bank of America, we believe that every citizen should be informed about the important issues affecting their lives and their communities. That's why we're proud to support the CAUCUS Educational Corporation and its production of One-on-One with Steve Adubato at the Newark Museum, a groundbreaking series that will feature some of the very best artistic talent that New Jersey has to offer. We hope you enjoy the series.
Funding for this special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato at Newark Museum has been provided by Bank of America. Life's better when we're connected. PSE&G, committed to improving New Jersey's economy and strengthening its communities. Cohn Resnick, Accounting, Tax, and Advisory, where forward thinking creates results. University Hospital, Newark, New Jersey. Johnson & Johnson, Prudential Financial's Global Communications Department. And by the North Ward Center. Promotional support provided by NJ.com. Small news, big news, true Jersey. And by bestofNJ.com, covering all NJ has to offer.
This is One-on-One. I'm an equal American just like you are.
The jobs of tomorrow are not the jobs of yesterday.
Look at this. You got this?
Here it is, man. Look at that.
Life without dance is boring.
When you first heard that they were doing Charlie Rose and Gayle King, didn't you go, what?
Do you enjoy talking politics?
No. People call me because they feel nobody's paying attention.
Our culture, I don't think, has ever been tested the way it's being tested right now.
Such a good question. High five.
Hi, I'm Steve Adubato. This is historic for us. We are in beautiful Newark, New Jersey, otherwise known as Brick City. We're at the Newark Museum. Talk about a historic place. One-on-one from the Newark Museum, and it would not have been possible without the gentleman you're about to see on camera. He is Steven Kern, Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Newark Museum. And Steven, I want to thank you for allowing us to be in your home. It's a special place.
It's a special place. Welcome to the museum today.
Thank you. 1909.
1909. This is a really great story that we have here at the museum. What we like to say is the modern museum was invented in Newark in 1909. And everything that was planned here for this new model of museum became the national standard, in fact, the international standard by the 1970s.
And John Cotton Dana, who we're actually going to see on camera, John Cotton Dana was the gentleman who was the key behind this?
He was. You know, he was an interesting guy. He started off as a librarian, and he did things like open stacks and children's reading rooms, and it's all about accessibility and relevance. And when he came to Newark in 1902, he, of course, set up a children's reading room, opened up the stacks, and also set up a business library. He also took care of two galleries on the fourth floor of the library, one for art and one for science.
So hold on. Excuse me, Stephen, the museum was at the library?
Started off at the library. The city leadership back in the late 19th century thought and believed firmly that a great city needs to have a great museum. So when they built the library, which was of course built before the museum, they included rooms so we could get going here in Newark with art and science as a means of engaging the community. And then John Cotton Dana came in, this great pioneer in education, libraries and museums, and he got the whole show going. And between 1902 and 1909, there were 57 exhibitions just in that one span. So he really hit the ground running when he got here from Springfield, Massachusetts.
You know, fast forward all the way up into today. I mean, the whole series that we're doing here. What's so exciting is our executive producer, Jen Eichlin, and the team here have put together a series of extraordinary interviews with really impressive artists, people who are involved in the arts in so many ways. This museum displays the work of all kinds of very creative people, and it's open to whom, for what?
You know, and it's open to everybody. Our greatest partner since 1909 has been the city of Newark. And school kids and workers in the factories, the whole idea of being accessible and relevant. Those are terms we use now.
Accessible and relevant, you just said that before. What does that mean?
That means the doors are open to everybody, and it means once you come in, you see something that is familiar and something that is meaningful in your life. And so when this museum opened up as a building in the middle of the city, not in a temple off in a park somewhere, but in a building that looks like an office building or an apartment store, something that's comfortable and inviting for you to come into. Once you get in, you see work, you see exhibitions, you go to programs that mean something to you.
Talk about accessible.
Look at that. Look at that. One of the great things about this museum, 1909, was get the school kids in here. Engage. Get the kids in. Get the workers in. Get everybody in. And so, yeah, we were the first museum to codify arts education in a museum setting. And what happened in 1909, or in this case with the opening of the building in 1926, when we finally moved out of the 4th floor of the library.
Tell people where we are right now.
This is 49 Washington Street in downtown Newark, right on Washington Park. And these are kids lining up on the stairs, going into that beautiful Washington Street entrance, which is going to be reopening this year. So,
changing the lives for so many kids, seeing things they would never otherwise have seen.
It's all about transformative experience. And so if you think back in the 1920s, 20,000 kids were coming to the museum every year. That was a huge number. Now we're up around 100,000 coming for programs here at the museum.
What are they going to say? What are they going to see today? What are we going to see in this series one-on-one at the Newark Museum?
Well, what they see is American art, because John Cotton Dana had a healthy skepticism about European painting. He thought that we should be a museum of our time and of our place, again, relevant. And he thought that American art should be what we're collecting and programming because it's what we're about. And so that's why we've got one of the greatest collections in the United States of American painting. He also believed that aesthetic was everywhere. And so he was collecting globally by the 19-teens. Our African collection, for example, goes back 100 years. The Tibetan collection began in 1911. This is really pioneering, visionary stuff. So to see those kids lined up at the main entrance looks normal to us today. But in 1909, that was a whole new idea in the world of museums, because this was the first museum in the United States that said it's for everybody. Everybody's not just welcome, everybody's invited.
How about the idea of displaying, showing the work of artists in this community?
Well, again, Dana, going back to the beginning, believed you have to support the arts in your own community. And again, we don't think of ourselves in the sort of the microcosm of Newark. It's more the macro of the great American metropolis that we're a part of. And so artwork was being acquired and it was being shown by artists from down the street to artists from across the river to artists from across the country.
That's why the Newark Museum has an international reputation.
That's right. We're one of the biggest museums in North America. We have to remember that. And the global asset that is provided by the collections is truly, it's truly unique in American museums. The diversity here is exceptional. While there might be collections of African and European and American and Dec arts, it really achieves a whole different effect here because we've been collecting for over 100 years.
Before I let you go, the invitation you want to give to folks watching on public broadcasting, FiOS, listening on radio, seeing you digitally as well on our other platforms, what's the invitation you want to give folks about the Newark Museum?
Is just as we were determined to be relevant and accessible back in 1909, there is something that will interest you here, regardless who you are, where you're from, how educated you are, how wealthy you are, whatever your interests are. This is an amazing institution. It really is one of the most important in North America. And those reminders, I think, signal us in the state of New Jersey that we've got this amazing asset. In the city of Newark, the great city of Newark, we've got this great institution. American museums would not be what they are now without the leadership of the Newark Museum back in 1909. The modern American Museum was invented here. And by virtue of that, based on connectivity, there's a lot to see and do here in the museum.
By the way, the Newark Museum, like our not-for-profit and like public broadcasting, we work at fundraising all the time.
That's it.
By the way, greatest leadership lesson you've learned so far in your work is?
Listen to other people.
Really?
Yeah. Doesn't mean they're always right, but you listen. No, listen to other people, yeah.
Well said. Listen, Steven Kern, Director and Chief Executive Officer of this extraordinary institution, the Newark Museum, started in 1909. I want to thank you for allowing us to be in your home, the Newark Museum, the home of so many people in the city of Newark that matters so much. Hopefully it won't be the last time. Thank you, Steven.
Thank you.
Stay with us. We'll be right back from this very special place.
To see more one-on-one with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato PhD, and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
We're pleased to be joined by Kortez. It just says artist here, but he describes his work as esoteric urbanism. He attended the Newark School of Fine and Industrial Arts, and we are thrilled to have you with us. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's a pretty great place, the Newark Museum, right?
Oh, it's a beautiful place.
Right?
Yes.
How did you know, by the way, how did you know and when did you know that you were going to be an artist? Is that a loaded question?
No, 4 years old. My father used to give me clay, modeling clay, and my first sculpture was a man on the beach with a beach umbrella. He has a picture of it too. It's funny.
He has a picture?
Yeah, there is a picture floating around in one of our family albums.
Did you spend a lot of time doing artwork as a kid by yourself?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, it was something that it came naturally to me. And it's funny, over the years, I remember in high school, I tried to divert and do something different.
Like?
DJing. My first love is music. And I wanted to be an audio engineer. And so I went to the Institute for Audio Research and did very bad and spent a lot of time in Washington Square Park drawing when I should have been in class. Because
it was your love, your passion?
Yeah, it was a passion, even though I couldn't get away from it. I couldn't.
You know, we're going to show some of your work, but I am curious. Esoteric urbanism.
The funny...
What do you, because you have to call it something?
What happened, I was having a show at a friend of mine's recording studio. I had artwork up, we figured let's have an art show. One of my friends, Kim Jacobs, was describing my artwork to a 14-year-old son. He was about 14-year-old. And he said, or she said, "This is esoteric urbanism." And she just looked over her shoulder and said, "You could take it." And there it was born.
What did it mean to you?
To me, my mother used to always call me her eccentric son. And finding out what the word esoteric meant, made for or understood by a small group, I said that describes me fully, because my artwork is, I bounce back and forth between social commentary, pop art. If you look at my collages, they are like projects in ADD. I'm all over the place. So what ends up happening with these collages, I take clips.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this is actually the first collage I ever did, okay? And it's all over the place.
Feeling mighty real.
And what I usually do is take text from...
That's musical. Is that what I think?
There's so much going on in there. There's actually images of my own paintings in there. There's images from magazines. There's iconography going on in there. And during that time, I was really trying to find myself. So I was all over the place. Now I do it with more of a purpose. It's more direct. So when I deviate and go all over the place, it's definitely done on purpose. But this is an example of me not knowing where to stop.
What do you think?
I would say 90.
90, really?
1990.
Got another one, team? Put up another one.
This is something fairly new. I like working in, they call it Chinese markers. They're crayons, very hard crayons that a lot of construction workers use them to mark glass and metal and so forth. And a friend of mine just gave me a whole box of them.
Man behind bars.
Yes.
Political?
It's political, it could be social. Whatever it embodies a lot of different things. I know when I did this, I was going through some personal turmoil. But at the same time, you juxtapose that between what's going on in society. It can mean something very political.
I know, we'll do the kiss and I'll come back. Talk about that.
Love. That's It's so simple. It's something that crosses all social, economic boundaries. Everybody experiences or wants love. So things like this are very easy for me to do. Things like this, I find that the public tends to really gravitate towards things like this.
Influenced by whom? You. Can you say that I've been influenced by this person, this person, this person?
Yes. So personally, I would say my parents, of course. My mother used to always bring me to galleries. The first gallery I ever went to was City Without Walls. I was just telling, yeah, City Without Walls. But this is going back to like the late 70s.
Right.
I don't remember exactly where it was. I thought it was on High Street, but I think it was on Halsey Street.
It was on Halsey Street.
And I just remember the name, City Without Walls.
It's one of the best names.
Yeah.
Great names.
Yeah.
Andy Warhol?
Oh, yeah. Love
Why?
Andy. Just the imagery, just his iconic imagery. He was one of the first artists I was exposed to. Warhol, Picasso.
Dali?
Dali, I love Dali, but not really influenced on my work per se. But I love looking at his work.
I asked you before about the political piece. Mm-hmm. You said that people take whatever they choose to take away. But sometimes I get confused if an artist who is appears to be, and we're meeting for the first time, mm-hmm. such a deep thinker, mm-hmm. who is moved to do something and clearly wants people to respond and react. But if they take away whatever they take away, does that mitigate the ability to have the impact you want to have from a social justice, political perspective?
It does. But at the same time, when the piece is made, you have to understand what's going on.
In you.
Right.
I'm sorry for finishing your sentence.
Oh, no, it's quite all right.
Because all you're just doing is doing what you're doing. You're not trying to plan what the outcome's going to be.
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It really depends on, it's like Miles Davis playing the trumpet.
Well, you don't turn your back to the audience.
No. But it's very organic. It just flows out.
Esoteric urbanism. You were born to be an artist.
I believe so.
You couldn't, no disrespect, you couldn't sell insurance, could you?
I probably could, but wouldn't be that good.
Hey, by the way, where can people see your work?
Vonda's Kitchen, Duke's Southern Table.
Great places. Restaurants?
Palette Gallery in Asbury Park.
All right.
I'm trying to work
That's
all
okay.
over the place.
We're looking at your website right now.
Okay.
Esotericurbanism.com.
Yes.
They can find out about your work.
Oh, yes. And I'm also on Facebook and Twitter, Esoteric Urbanism.
Listen, thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you.
I told you this would be painless.
Yeah.
Wasn't that bad?
It wasn't that bad, but it's a lot easier being in front of a canvas. It's funny, I do work in nightclubs, thousands of people around me. I'm not nervous. But here,
it's different.
It's totally different. But I like the tension. I like the tension.
Last thing I'm gonna do is create tension. Now you make me feel bad.
No, it isn't. It isn't that type of tension, though.
We'll talk after.
All right.
Listen, thank you.
Thank you.
And all the best with your work.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Stay with us. We'll be right back from the Newark Museum one-on-one right after this.
To see more one-on-one with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato PhD and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
Steve Adubato here at the Newark Museum. It is my honor and my pleasure to introduce a gentleman on camera, Victor Davson.
That's correct.
Who is the co-founder and executive director of Aljira, a center for contemporary art. Good to see you again, Victor.
My pleasure.
Aljira stands for?
Dreamtime.
Dreamtime.
Or timelessness, or open possibilities.
Describe this operation.
We are a non-for-profit contemporary art space that focuses on emerging and underrepresented artists in New Jersey and the region.
Trying to promote them, help them, is that what it is?
Give them a start. And also, for older artists who've been overlooked, we try to bring the attention of the public and the community at large, the art public and the community at large.
You started this, sorry for interrupting, Victor, you started this in 1983.
That's correct.
Why?
Well, it was a response to my own experience as an artist of color, i.e.,
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up, I got to the United States when I was 25. I grew up in a British colony, Guyana, in South America, and then came here to go to school. I studied at Pratt Institute. I graduated from Pratt Institute. And after Pratt, I didn't know exactly what to do. What I knew was that there were not a lot of opportunities for artists of color. So Aljira became a sort of a springboard for...
So it's a nonprofit, and you decided to help these other artists.
That's correct.
But my understanding is for the first 5 years, you worked without a salary.
That is correct. I mean...
so it wasn't a business.
Well, it's more like a movement.
A movement.
That's correct. I mean, I think there was an alternative movement happening in the arts, back in the 70s and 80s. A lot of alternative spaces opened up, and they weren't formal spaces like, say, the Newark Museum. And a lot of artists, I know they created, a lot of artists, are indebted to these spaces for their
artists of color.
Artists of color.
Why was it so hard for artists of color to break through, find a venue where their art, their work?
How much time do we have?
What were some of the biggest reasons?
Well, first of all, there's a show that is currently on view in Philadelphia. Artist by the name of Norman Lewis. Norman Lewis died at 70. Norman Lewis was extremely important to the abstract expressionist movement. He was probably the only artist of color that I was aware of that was part of that. Nobody knows of Norman Lewis. Norman was working before I was born. In
obscurity.
In obscurity.
No one cared?
Well, there weren't the opportunities. In fact, I saw the exhibition with my wife this weekend. And Norman recalls that, a reviewer was interested in his work and excited about his work, and then was surprised to find out that he was black. So, yeah. So that, in a way, is a roundabout way of getting to the question that you just...
So you do this work for all these years, since '83. Right. You help these emerging artists.
Right.
How is it helping you?
Well, what it did do was help me to find a community of artists. And as it turned out, it was not just only artists of color. It became also women. Women, yeah. You recognize women as a minority.
Sure.
Yeah, lots of women who went to art school didn't have opportunities to participate, which was a predominantly male, white kind of sort of culture.
Insular?
And so, pardon me?
Insular.
I would say so.
The art world, insular.
Exactly.
So for those of us who are not in the art world and think, wow, progressive, liberal, open.
No,
no,
not at all. I mean, somebody like Judy Brodsky, who funded the Brodsky Center for Innovative Printmaking, she was part, and people like Faith Ringgold, these are people who are part of a very vital, they're part of the feminist movement who've had to make a lot of noise. I'm thinking of this Miriam Shapiro. Right. People like this, they've had to make a lot of noise to sort of get attention, to participate in this discourse.
And move forward. You have an exhibit coming up.
Yes.
What's it called?
It's called Full Circle. It's
Full
called
Circle.
Full Circle. Yeah, it's called Full Circle.
Describe it.
Victor Davson Full Circle, and it's a survey of 30 years of my work. So I not only did Aljira, not only directed Aljira, but I maintained the practice, which is very difficult. So this exhibition, yes.
Describe what we're seeing right now. As
what we're seeing there is a piece that is made from a record album. It's made from rice, black rice, and confetti, not confetti, what's the material? Sparkles.
Sequins?
Sequins, that's correct. Yeah, and sequins.
Do we know who that is?
That is Aretha Franklin.
That's not Aretha Franklin.
That's Aretha Franklin, and it's a drawing. It's a drawing by Andy Warhol.
What?
So I'm appropriating Andy Warhol.
Wow.
So I'm sort of or reappropriating, if you will.
Okay, next one, from your exhibit.
Yes, that is called Joe Taylor, and it has nothing to do with Panasonic's Joe Taylor.
Yeah, the
Joe
CEO
Taylor,
there, who
no.
happens to be white.
Yes.
Yes.
But he tells an interesting story why he brought Panasonic to
Newark.
To Newark.
Right.
So there's so Joe
But
Taylor.
that's Joe Taylor.
That's my Joe Taylor.
That's your Joe Taylor.
And I knew a Joe Taylor growing up as a kid who was.
Is that a friend?
No, not really. He was a hero. He was a drummer. Wow. He was a drummer that played for weddings, Indian weddings in particular. So.
Got one more.
Yeah.
From your exhibit.
Yeah. This is from the Masquerade. The Masquerade is something that dominates, the topic that dominates my practice right now. And it's, these are, you can describe, on the right, there's a figure is known in Trinidad as Mokojambi. There's the Ibata, Mokojambi. The central figure is called the Long Lady, and the figure to the left of her is called Bam Bam Sally, and you probably could guess why.
Yeah, I can tell. What's the exhibit called?
It's called Full Circle.
And where can people see it?
People can see it at the Wilmer Jennings Gallery in Manhattan on 2nd Avenue.
And tell everyone the organization started in 1983 is called?
Aljira, a Center for Contemporary Art.
You've been making a difference in the lives of a lot of artists who need help for a long time. And Victor, I want to thank you for everything you do, but also coming on public broadcasting to share your story here at the Newark Museum. Thank you for everything you do. Don't let it be the last time you join us.
Well, thank you for the opportunity.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the CAUCUS Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. And by the Newark Museum, in cooperation with NJTV and 13 for WNET. Funding for this special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato at Newark Museum has been provided by Bank of America, PSE&G, Cone Resnick, University Hospital, Newark, New Jersey, Johnson & Johnson, Prudential Financial's Global Communications Department, and by the North Ward Center. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.
New Jersey is a leader in solar power, and PSE&G is doing its part. With 24 solar installations in New Jersey, projects that are giving landfills new purpose and turning former brownfields green. Solar powers more than our homes and schools and businesses. It powers our economy by creating jobs right here in the Garden State. PSE&G, proud to support New Jersey.